Okay, what we're going to talk about today is pain and how the athlete can help eliminate it, help manage it, and keep going, keep enjoying their sport while dealing with the normal aches and pains that training hard is going to, that's what's going to develop. Okay. Just try to imagine how much you would enjoy your working out, your sport, strength training, running, jumping, volleyball, football, everything, if you had no pain. Now, what we're going to try to deal with is how to not quite totally eliminate it, but how to deal with it and try to be therapeutic as in your daily life, so that when it does come time to work out, you're not as stiff and not as sore, and you're treating your muscles well, and you can get through a heavy workout without tearing up the body, and then you practice more therapy after your lifting session, and then you get proper recovery, and then you're ready for the next session. So we're going to go over some little inventions that I have discovered, and little theories I have about detailing of the body. You know, like if you have an old classic truck and you want to make that truck look better, well, you take it to the dealership and have it detailed. You know, they take and clean out the old wax in between the door and the fender and everything, and get that thing all spiffed up. Well, you have to look at the body as an athlete's body needs detail. And detailing is, an example of detailing is if you wake up in the middle of the night, your shoulder's tight, your shoulder's sore, you've got 2 or 3 hours before you have to get up to work, and you're thinking, well, geez, I don't really need a drink of water or anything. I'm not going to get up and go to the bathroom and then rub my shoulder with liniment or anything, or put some ice on it or something like that, so that tomorrow morning when I get up for work, boom, I'm ready to go. You need to detail that shoulder. You need to not skimp on that ever. You need to get up. You need to get something rubbed on that, some kind of a pain-killing gel or something to relieve the pain, a little bit of ice. Go down to the refrigerator, get that little Ziploc baggie of ice, throw it on there for 10 minutes. You did your therapy. You did your detailing on the body. Anyway, that's one of the points that you're like, no, you're not in constant training, but you're in a constant state of being therapeutic to that body. Okay. Now I'm going to go with a couple of ideas, little inventions, things I've found that work for me, and that I think are improvements on just taking the rubbing it on your body, going, okay, good enough, warmed up, ready to go. Okay, these are just a little more fine-tuned ideas than, say, something like that. First big question, and I'm sure this has happened to every athlete, is like, how many times say you have the chronic shoulder that aches a little, you still function good, but you have to do a little, treatment on that to keep it right. Okay. And I'm sure this has happened where you get your rub on, you're getting ready to go, you're a little bit tight from the last workout a day or two ago, so, and you're like, okay, I'm digging into this shoulder, gonna get this thing loose and everything like that, and then, oh, you have a cramp over here. This hurts, so you gotta back it up. You gotta back this up. Now you're going to get back in there a little bit, okay, everything, cramp again in here. And now this shoulder hasn't been treated right, and this pec over here is starting to cramp up on you. So now what do you have to do? Oh, you have to get your electrolytes right. You might have to put a little rub on here, where there was a much simpler solution for this shoulder that would have stayed completely away from antagonizing this tight pec. And I'll show you that by a little invention that I picked up at an antique store. So, okay, what we have here is something that is good for massaging, and it's going to help you get that shoulder cleared up without any stress at all on the other parts of your body. And the biggest thing about this is, if you imagine this, if you're rubbing your shoulder with your fingers, say in here, okay, you're working on that shoulder here, okay, and you go and work on that shoulder with this, you could call this a really strong, hard finger, like here. Okay, this is a much better job, does a much better job, one of getting in deep without you even straining this part of your body at all. You can get down there really deep with this, and it's hard, but it's smooth, and it's going to feel really good on that shoulder. And then actually what this is an antique car, a vintage car radiator cap that would sit on the front of the radiator like this. It's very heavy. I think it's made out of brass, polished brass, and then to get it on and off, you got these two handles and you twist it. But I'll often go to the antique store and look at things, and I had a little piece of metal with a little handle on the end for $2. I was at the antique store, I had this in my hand, I go, that's going to be good for me working on the joints and details, and that's going to be good. So I'm carrying this around like I'm going to buy it. Then in this display cabinet, I go over and I look and I go, whoa, the ends of that look like something that would really dig in deep and help me out. So I called the help at the antique dealers, and they got it out of the case, and I was looking at it, and I liked the heft to it, and I'm like, I got something here. It even feels good right now. It's like you're treating the body good. I always tell the people that I've trained, do something good to the body. You bang on it, you're ripping on it when you work out, you're pushing it to the max. Take some time to do some good things for that body. And this is one of them. And you can get with there's substitute, a ball peen hammer, screwdrivers with different handles on them. But anything really strong, it's got this extension. I don't have to stretch this arm way over here, tightening up this pack. I'm right here. And it takes very little effort from this to get down on that muscle spasm I got, which is right there. Okay. Another thing that I picked up at the antique store is, well, before I tell you about that, before I work out, I'll always get some product on my lower back, you know, loosening, pain-killing product. I'll get that on my lower back, and I used to do it by rubbing it on the back of my knuckles right here, and then digging it in here, just like this. I'd be working on that lower back, sliding it around, here, down here. That'd take me about 5 minutes, and then I'd be done with it and ready to go. Well, at the antique store, the doorknobs are on sale. Old doorknobs, both sides, about $5 a piece, right? And I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, my theory is, and I've learned this a long time ago from a really good friend, training partner of mine that was probably, he had 30 years on the ISSA, and he's been long gone, but he gave me one sentence of advice, and he told me, never hesitate to spend money on your health. You can take that to the bank. I'm telling you, young people right now, or older guys and women who are trying to keep being athletic like I am, never hesitate to spend money on your health. Okay, so for that reason, I'm going to spend $10 on these, and I'm going to try them out. Okay. So, and what I got here, it's a container of one of the products that I use to loosen up the lower back. It's a arnica profin, it's called, and it's transdermal, goes to the skin, and pain-killing, loosening up. Okay, I got the doorknobs home. Talk about coincidence. Okay, so I'm going to try them out the first time, loosening up my back before I work out. Okay, so what I'll do here, they go right in. I will go around a little bit on the arnica. I get some up. Get some on both doorknobs. And then I go like this. So, I'm up here, up here. I want to be up a little. Feels good. Down on the hips. Very good. Dig it in good. You want to dig it in good? Dig it in good. It's easy. So what the big advantage of these, what I found, was that with my fists balled up back here, I could never really dig in deep like I can with these. So I was extremely happy with this, and go to the antique store. You can't go wrong with these. Smooth, nice and glide, nice and smooth on the old knee here. So I got this. Kind of rub that in. It's a transdermal little pain relief. So I get that rubbed in. And this is going to help anyway. And I'll just see how the old steel popsicle works on it. I need a little more on here. Okay. There we go. Smooth as glass now. This is cold. I want to put this right on the pain. I'm not rubbing it hard with a lot of pressure. I just want that cold to get in there. You know, that's the old theory. Be nice to the body. You don't have to. If you got a sore joint, you don't want to irritate it. You want to soothe it, and that's what this does. This ice will. I can feel it go right down in on my pain site. You can feel it being tough on your pain right now. I'll move it around a little. Oh, there's another spot that needs it. And that feels good. Feels good on my working muscle up here that's not sore. And then back to the pain spot. Feels very good. And here, and you're hardly doing anything with this arm or this hand. You're not working the body anywhere else. You're not making a big strain to get this thing done, and just adding a bunch of tension to something you want to relax. You want to relax the knee, and you don't need to be like, you don't want to be like grinding with the palm of your hand over here, where and your hip is tense from sitting here. The hand is, and you're like, you want this thing to be relaxed. And that's what these tools do. They give you a good tool to work with, and lets the rest of your body relax. And that sends the message to the knee, relax. It feels good. Like I'll just keep going and going and going, and then tomorrow when I work out, this is going to pay off. This is terrific. This is just terrific. First thing you do is need a piece of steel. You get a wrench, you know, a thick wrench with a flat piece. Put it in your freezer. Put a paper towel around the end of it, or you know, a dish towel on the end of it, and you got it. Use your imagination. Don't start looking for tools that are going to help that body feel good. Help it keep going so we can be here lifting weights, working out. Okay, I'm very happy with that. Okay, now we're going to spend a little time on some of the pain-killing products that I've kind of discovered over the years that work for me. And you know, I'm in my 60s, so we kind of have to deal with a lot of aches and pains, and you know, we want to be athletes and we want to stay athletes, and as long as we can, and you're looking at the same thing I am, which is you know, how long can we keep out there and enjoying our sport? And, you'll see some pictures and awards and stuff in the back, and these are kind of things that mementos that have some meaning for me. Back in the small picture is my uncle in World War II, and the larger picture, that's my dad in World War II, and You know, his spirit and his memory are always with me, and I like him here in the gym, and I like to think that he'd be pleased with some of the stuff I do, and, you know, fine fellow he was. Anyway, so let's get back to business here. What we're going to focus in on is, I'm sure a lot of athletes have heard of this, DMSO. This is kind of a pure DMSO that you can get on a pharmacy, or you can get it online too. And there's a lot of information about DMSO online. So if you ever want to do any investigating on this stuff, it's sort of it's called, they'll say, well, it's a solvent, but it's kind of a liniment, and it's a watery type solution, a little bit like say alcohol, maybe a little thicker than the usual rubbing alcohol you might buy, but it's gonna, you can't just tilt the bottle over and get a handful of it and then slather it on. That's not, it's gonna be pretty sloppy, and the stuff is pretty strong, so I don't really use much of it, but I will dab it on, and it has a good reputation as being a good painkiller. It's good for quick touch-ups, like at work or something. I'll have a forearm that gets really sore. I'll get out my DMSO, get a little bit on my hand, rub it on there, and then get back to work. Okay, this next product is just tilt it up here. It's called ibuprofen, and it is a product made by this Vincos company, and they make a number of things, and I've tried some of the other things without a ton of success, but this ibuprofen is a really good painkiller. It's through the skin. The theory is it's going to take ibuprofen and put it right on your pain through the skin, and it's kind of just a white cream, like a gel, and it's very easy to use. And this was the first thing that my pharmacist recommended for me, so I could get control of the pain. And then I recommended it to a lot of people. They've tried it for shin splints and stuff like that. They've been very happy with the results for shin splints, for say heavier guys trying to jog, or older guys that, you know, want to get out with a wife and walk for 2 or 3 miles. And both of those types have been very happy with the ibuprofen. So I'll use this a lot of times as a startup rub to use before I start working out. I get this, put a little bit on my knees, do that lower back rub with the doorknobs back there, put it on my shoulder, and just get it all over my joints right before I start stretching. Another product that I like, this is really popular. I just talked to the pharmacist a while back, and I said, Stan, is this product, do a lot of people use this? And he said, yeah, they do. It's a very popular product. What it is glucosamine. It's got this MSM for it, which is good for arthritis, and arnica, and it says liposome lotion, which is, it says liposome delivery system, fast acting. It's transdermal, through the skin type thing. And this has a little squeeze top on top, little lotion dispenser up there, and that makes it very convenient. I keep one by my bed, so if I wake up with that tight shoulder or something, and I can just reach over, squeeze a little on my hand, on my fingers, and get something on that shoulder if it's tight. And it's kind of a nice clear gel rubbed in, doesn't leave your hands all greasy. It's a really good stuff. It's put out by this Now, which is kind of a big vitamin maker. You'll see stacks of their stuff of vitamins and all kind of supplements, just shelves and shelves of their products. But we're going to talk about another one of their products here, over here. Got my grandson there, little Willie, behind the product, and we just move that product over. We get a good shot of Willie here. Anyway, this is another Now product, and it's an oil, and I should do better than that. It's called Arnica Warming Relief Massage Oil, Muscle Tension, Therapeutic Soothing. So this is, like it says, it's just the oil. It's the oil I used over there to demonstrate with the little steel bar to demonstrate on my knee. And I like to mix this with the DMSO. It thickens up the DMSO, and now you have the warming relief oil mixed with a really strong painkiller, the DMSO, and you have a little container that I use that at work a lot too. I'll mix them up together, put them in a little container, and makes it really easy to put on, and you can get a good little bit on your aches within probably 2 minutes. And then if you're like my factory is, you got to be up and running pretty quick. So then you get right back to your job. Keep everybody happy. And it was Willie too, so we're all big Willie fans around here. And over here is a really big influence on my on me as a person and a power lifter and a weightlifter. We have here the guy in the Superman shirt back here, Russ Dotson. He's from Newark, Ohio. He's standing there. The big guy is Dr. Daryl Latch, who puts on a lot of bench meets and deadlift meets, and it's kind of a traveling powerlifting show. But Russ, I've known him for the longest time. He's won just a whole bunches of master nationals, you know, as a power lifter. He's also competed in Olympic lifting too, and Russ is a real mentor to me, and I think the ultimate type as a humble person who accomplishes great things. And I just can't say enough about him.
and just the way he is, and will win or lose, keeps that smiling face on, and is always encouraging to other people, and he just lacks that big kind of ego that a lot of lifters get, including older master lifters too. But I think that Superman shirt on Russ is that speaks well of him, because that's what I think of that guy. He's just the best. Anyway.
Well, we're coming to the end here, and I'll just explain a few things here in the barn gym. This is the barn gym. It originally was a barn, and but it's a block barn, a cinder block barn, and this is it. This is the place where we try to make a better gym, and we try to make a better body and a better lifter and a better man too. It's what we're trying to work on, body and spirit all together. Anyway, I want to explain a few things on the wall over here. We have the big press sign that kind of dominates everything. And that press is, what that is that's a sign I used to take to meets and things when I'd cover them, because I had back in the early 90s, I had a powerlifting newsletter, and it was called Press. There it is there, when my son was a young guy. The date on this is August 1994. And we went on for about 4 years producing it. Juliet is saying it's a tough job taking pictures at the meet, but someone has to do it. Here you see Seth had taken pictures of all the champion women at the meet, and this was out in Pennsylvania at the No Boys Allowed, ADFPA, American Drug-Free Powerlifting Federation, run by Al Siegel, out Clearfield, Pennsylvania. And this was Al's big meet, No Boys Allowed. There's some other pictures. This is Joe Orengia from Erie, Pennsylvania. Very famous, legendary coach, lifter. Very big promoter of drug-free powerlifting. There's John McAllister, good friend of mine from New York State. Set a whole bunch of masters powerlifting records at the No Boys, and he owned a lot of the masters powerlifting state records in New York State too. And then he's here with his 3 sons. This was 1994. Well, one of them grew up, I don't know which one it was, but one of them grew up to get a football scholarship at Rutgers and start out there for a couple of years. So you want to say hi to John. He's got some health problems nowadays, and he was somebody I always looked up to as a person, and naturally is a terrific lifter too. So I take time to say hi to John and hope someday he can see this. Anyway, we had the press thing on, and that was a ball. That was just a great time. Met a lot of nice people. And so I'm out of powerlifting right now. As you can see, we have
USA weightlifting poster there, which is kind of like where we're headed now with the Alico plates and platforms here, and you know, there's still we like to be able to keep the gym, you know, have everything that somebody needs to come in. It's a private gym. It's you know, my son, his wife, other people I've coached and things like that will stop in, their dads and friends of mine, old training partners and stuff like that. But, you know, we probably have 7 or 8 people come in here on a regular basis and do their thing. So we need to have everything here: benches, inclines, power racks, and you know, the Olympic lifting platforms. We have 2 Olympic lifting platforms, and so you could say that Olympic lifting is the gym owner's thing, and it's going to dominate a little bit, but I think we can still you know, make everybody happy that comes in here, and that's what we want. I want a lot of action here. If things are a little bit messed up, I try to keep it sharp as can be. It's like a situation like if I have a wall over here that I was going to put plates against. I got a new Alico set a while back, and I wanted to put a little board up here that put a piece of plywood up here that you could lean the weights against, and then suddenly that morphed into a nice piece of birch plywood that's redone, had a great looking pattern on it, and that's where that went. And so that's where kind of the philosophy of the gym here is like, you want to make it special, you come in here, I don't want you to see a bunch of weights sitting there with the rakes and shovels and everything else. We want to see something that goes, this is different. Platforms are different. Everything's different. This is a special place. You come in here, you want to kick it up into high gear. You're going to get a good workout. You're going to have positive reinforcement here. So I'll probably show you a little bit of that before this is all over, but you know, we'll go for that next time. Go around the gym and see what's going on and everything, and just try to show you, give you a little bit of my philosophy of how I think that it should be, atmosphere should be when you walk in. Atmosphere in the gym should hit you right as soon as you walk in. Boom. Okay, this is business here. This is getting up and running, positive reinforcement, special place to live. You know, that's what we want. You know, we want to, when you're standing here, my Olympic lifting platform is here. Let's see if I can get this right. See if I can get this, show you. Try to show you what I mean here. Bear with me, bear with me. We're getting there. Okay, it's just like if my Olympic lifting platform is here, I just want it to be something that if you step on this piece of wood, this is a nice piece of wood, and it means that you're going to do something special. And it's just not a piece of plywood stained with coffee drips or Coca-Cola or spit or sweat or anything like that. This has a finish on it. It's a piece of oak plywood, and we can wipe that stuff right off and make it a special look here. Same way with this yellow border around this platform, and it's like if you're stepping, when I'm stepping in here to lift, I want to think like, okay, my technique's going to be good, I'm going to be good, this is a special place. So, you get yourself ready to go. You have the atmosphere of like, this is nice. This is a meat atmosphere here. I want to make my technique meat perfect. That's why it's set up that way with the yellow border around. You can see, I like the big rubber side cushions for the platform. I don't like the platforms that cost you $1,500, $2,000 and then have a little skinny piece of rubber about this wide. About this wide, they're pieces, and they run them along here like this. So your platform is the wood, little runner of rubber up and down here, about this wide to kind of catch the weights on, and that's it. What I like is that big piece of rubber here, so no matter where that bar goes, whether it bounces a couple feet this way, it's going to be on rubber. It's not going to hurt the plates. Plates aren't going to bounce on the concrete floor. Then when you're loading plates and everything, when you're loading plates, I like to have my feet level on the big pieces of rubber here. I don't like to have a bar sitting up here and then me being off the platform down a couple inches or something like that. I'm right here. Tighten everything up. I got it ready to go. It's not crowded. And I like it. I just like the room. You know, it's like one time I was up at a small meet, Sandusky, Ohio, and you know, I'm a novice Olympic lifter. I've been at it maybe 3.5 years, just developing some technique, and it's pleasing me a little bit. And anyway, I was up in Sandusky at a small meet, and this wasn't very long ago. And a guy from Pittsburgh, a good friend of mine, Kevin Montgomery, I was talking to him, and I was saying I didn't like this or that in my training, and I was hoping for something a little bit better at the meet. And anyway, Kevin was telling me, he goes, well, you know, he goes, I wouldn't worry about it too much because this is London, alluding to the recent Olympics. You know, this isn't the London Olympics. And I told him, I says, it is to me. You know, and that's the way I look at this training plant here. I call it a training plant. You know, this is our factory where we try to get better, and that's why I like these platforms to be as nice as I can make it. So when I walk up here to train, you know, I'm training to be my best. You know, and this is London to me. Anyway, we'll get going here pretty soon, but a couple other things. Don't forget, go to the hardware store, go to the antique store, look for some things that are going to help, because I'm telling you, massaging the body with something stiff and strong, and something that can it doesn't take very much effort at all to get really deep into that muscle area, get down into that joint, that pain, and make that thing feel a lot better. That's what we want. And then of course we've got my piece of steel on the handle here, which it works amazingly well. Especially you're in the middle of your workout, you got that shoulder barking at you. You got to do 2 more sets of benches. You got to do your jerks. You know, you feel strong, but this is bothering you. Pull a piece of steel out of the freezer, you know, out of your bag of ice, your lunchbox full of ice. Get that thing out of there, put it on, dip it back in the ice, do your set. It's a little stiff some more, put it back on again. No effort to this part of the body at all. And one last word, piece of advice, is that, you know, you start carrying an ice bucket to the gym, where you have these new inventions, things that you've designed for yourself, and you know, you'll see your training partners, the younger they are, the mouthier they are, and they'll be like, oh, what are you doing this for? Are you bringing that suitcase in here for? Or, but an ice chest, what the hell are you doing there, old dude, and this and that. I'm going to give you young people a good bit of advice. You can take this to the bank. The more your training partners and the more your friends are pointing out what they see as weird things or odd training, you know, aids and things like that, the more they do that, you just be more sure that you are on the right track. Until next time, this is Barn Gym Bill at the Barn Gym, having fun, trying to stay healthy, and we're going to stay in one piece, and the future is bright.